march begins in the race to Washington, D.C. in the ACC tournament and beyond, these teams hope.
Tom, for the record, I've never called it regalia. I've been on his campus, but I like it. I like it.
That's the purple, yeah. Often referred to as such. This is Hall lining up a three and knocking it down.
And Jai's going to have to learn to respect that. Get up and at least put a hand in the face, because that is fully in the bag for the big fella, P.J. Hall.
102 career threes now for P.J. Hall. Can hit that shot. He's made 43 this season. This is Burton trying to answer. Fight on the glass. Knocked around. And Wiggins able to come up with it. Jack Clark, who's been an impact player for the Tigers, unavailable tonight. Jordan, he's out with illness.
That matters. Best defender, real glue guy who can rebound and knock down some open shots. No missing. Wiggins gets the start in his place.
Double team on Schieffelin. Got it to Wiggins inside. Over the front rim for two.
So now what Wiggins possesses in place of Jack Clark. Jack Clark, yes, has length at 6'8", but insert Wiggins at 6'10", and this group becomes decidedly even more bigger and longer. Even bigger and longer, excuse me.
And Wiggins has certainly seen action this season. He's played in every single game. Markus Burton continues the production, and he gets the Irish on the board.
It's where Burton's at his best. Settled for the three-point look early on, 30% shooter from there. Best getting to the rim or utilizing the float game.
Leading freshman scorer in the ACC, Markus Burton, just over 17 points per game. Gerard misfires, and the rebound from Booth. So the Irish on Tuesday with a home victory against Wake Forest, 70-65. Overcame a night where they shot just 38% as a team. Gerard deflects that one into his own bench and out of bounds, and it will stay with the Fighting Irish.
Tae Davis bailed out on that baseline drive, left his feet with nowhere to go with the basketball. Gerard caught it late. Should have been a turnover going the other way.
Notre Dame overcoming a 5-point deficit at home against Wake Forest. Burton turns it over.
I think Burton was caught off guard that Hall was in his face when he looked up, and the head fake got sped up, shuffled the feet. Right call by an elite crew we have this evening.
Ted Valentine, Lee Cassell, Jeff Pond, our officiating crew. By the way, game one of our CW Courtside Saturday, 87-76, a win at home for Virginia Tech against Wake. This is Hall again. Schieffelin fighting for it. Burton comes away with it. Gerard cuts him off for the moment. Burton lays it up and in over the bigger players inside.
That's a freshman with the patience and cerebral approach to keep the pivot, be patient, let the defender be aggressive, and use that to his advantage to get it off the rim and lay it in.
Coming off that career high of 31 points in the win against Wake on Tuesday. Schieffelin over the top, deflects it back out to Wiggins. Hall. All of the points in the win against Wake Forest came from the starting five. No bench points in that victory. Burton, he had 31. Can't get that one to go.
That's a win defensively every time in a half-court setting for the Tigers when you force Burton to settle for three.
Gerard inside to Hall. Fouled, and he's going to the free throw line.
The decided advantage for the Tigers resides inside with P.J. Hall. Does a great job of loitering in that interior space. Joe Girard, not known for beating guys off the bounce, does so with the seal from Hall, where it's just a catch and in seamless manner a finish at the rim.
So Hall to the free throw line. Keba Jai picks up his first personal. What a career in Clemson, South Carolina it's been for P.J. Hall. 80% from the free throw line this season. 18.5 points per game, third in the ACC. And that's an old school three-point play for the senior from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
And Tom, I'm going to tell you right now, if R.J. Davis wasn't playing at the level he has all year, we'd be talking about P.J. Hall for Player of the Year, but we're certainly talking about him as a first-team all-conference performer.
R.J. Davis and his teammates have already posted a victory this afternoon in ACC play. Shot clock is down to 10 for the Irish and Burton.
Tigers doing a sublime job running Shrewsbury off the three-point line.
Burton hits the three. He's got all 7 so far for Notre Dame.
I mean, he's as high a usage guy as you'll find in the conference. He is the main artery through which everything flows.
Schieffelin kicks it out to Hall straight away. He's got 3.
Hey, John's just staying at home. He's going to have to get out and defend that three-point shot. This is why P.J. Hall is so dynamic. Physical down low, but can force the big to dance outside. And if they're not going to dance, he'll move to the beat of his own music out there.
Hall's got 9 points. Burton has 7. He got bumped. Dylan Hunter fouling Burton.
I'll tell you right now, PJ can perform. It's not PJ Hall. It is, you know what's coming. 3J Hall. Tigers 11-7 in a row.
It was Penn State, coached by Markus Shrewsbury, against the Clemson Tigers and Brad Brownell. How about this game, Jordan? Double overtime, a 101-94 win for Clemson.
Tell you what, if we have that here tonight, I won't mind it. I'm not going to determine a winner, but if we get double overtime basketball, I ain't complaining as a broadcaster. But so far, it hasn't been Brownell versus Shrewsbury. It's been Hall versus Burton, as these two have really lived up to the star billing this evening.
A rare miss from the free throw line for Markus Burton, 83% of the season, and that is 8th in the conference. Brad Brownell has done an amazing job with the Clemson program in his 13th season. In Clemson, South Carolina, he has the most wins in school history with 261.
Just a heck of a basketball coach and a great representation of Clemson.
And an Indiana native. That's Wiggins inside.
And Wiggins buried Roper. At that point, you've lost the battle before the ball even enters the hands of Wiggins. Good job pre-catch to determine he was going to go chase 2.
Brad Brownell is from Evansville, Indiana.
DePaul basketball player, right?
Yes, 91 grad, DePaul University. Started his career playing at Purdue. Didn't get the kind bounce for Jai, trying to save it on the baseline. Able to do so. That was Tae Davis tiptoeing the line. And Burton had it knocked away by Gerard.
What Gerard lacks in foot speed, crafty with the hands, being active.
He slips down, loses control. Burton trying to win the race. And he got bumped in midair by P.J. Hall, sent to the court and to the free throw line.
You're finding that competitive nature show glimpses from Markus Burton. Of course, he's been productive offensively, but he turns the basketball over, and the resiliency to stay dogged on the basketball with Gerard to eventually take it away from him and get it going the other way, and not afraid to play into the contact and draw the whistle.
One more coming now for Burton. Freshman from Mishawaka, Indiana. Penn High School, 1 of 2 from the line. Scored over 2,200 points in his high school career. Averaged 30 points per game as a senior. That's a distant memory now. Latter stages of his freshman season, and he's been so impressive. Gerard off the mark. Diving for the loose basketball. Imes. Davis working around the perimeter. Davis trying to shake Godfrey, his defender. And around his hip and travel. And back to Clemson. So Davis will exit the ballgame for Coach Shrewsbury. Tigers come in with a 20-8 record. They are 10-7 in conference play. They've been impressive on the road in the ACC. They're 5-3, Jordan, and they've won 3 in a row on the road in conference.
That speaks to a dangerous team. You can go on the road and get those dubs traveling. Schieffelin, just an absolute load. A mismatch, truth be told. They should really explore going to Schieffelin. The body's on the floor. Even Zona. That's advantage number 4 in a Tigers jersey.
Schieffelin vastly improved this season. Just about averaging a double-double right in front of that Clemson bench. It's Booth.
And you'll live with those. Truthfully, if you're this Tigers defense, there's no good shooters on the floor when Shrewsbury leaves. That's a 27% three-point shooter in Booth.
And the 26th made three of the season for Booth as Dylan Hunter comes up short with his jumper. Younger brother of Chase for the Tigers.
If I'm the Tigers, I'm playing a drop coverage. I'm really packing it in and say, hey, show me you can beat us from three.
Trying to work off of that Zona screen. That's Burton.
Once Burton gets past the first line of defense and he gets to that second stage, his mid-range, his floater, his ability to finish around the rim, he is devastatingly good.
Double figures for the 22nd straight game for the freshman Markus Burton. Girard cannot find the range, struggling early here in the first half. Burton will spin it. The kick. Ives couldn't connect.
And again, it's good offense, but it's ending up in a 23% three-point shooter's hands.
Ives has only made 7 threes this season. One-point Tiger lead and a foul on the play. Burton has picked up his first personal.
The Irish defensively have been so good this year. Top 30 defense in the country. They don't turn you over. They're not really getting up in you, but they contest everything. They guard without fouling, and position-wise, they're always properly placed. That can get frustrating for an offense in a game that moves slow with amplified possessions because the game's played at a slow pace.
Second best in the ACC in scoring defense. Zona trying to defend Schieffelin. Roper over the top of the board, and here's Ives. Shrewsbury for 3.
It's the first good look that Shrewsbury's got. He'll still hurry.
Chase Hunter pulls up.
This is where the Irish will look to slow this game down, manage this game, understanding that if it becomes a back and forth, tons of possessions, it's advantage Clemson.
Foul coming up against the Tigers. It'll be on Beadle, his first.
Markus Burton. He's announced himself as a freshman here at Notre Dame with plays like that, the mid-range, nothing but nylon.
You're watching ACC basketball on the CW, brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Let's take a look at what's going on around the ACC, presented by T-Mobile, keeping in mind that North Carolina and Duke have already clinched double byes at the tournament in a couple weeks in D.C.
Yeah, UNC is one of those teams nationally everyone's looking at and saying, could this be their year? Scoring 6 out to me and a lot of people, obviously, as we talk bubble time, Wake Forest losing to Virginia Tech. That one hurts the resume massively for a Wake Forest team that's still trying to recover from that loss to the Irish just the game prior.
By the way, North Carolina has just one loss at home this season, and it was against the Clemson Tigers. It's the second time in school history they went to Chapel Hill and won. Defending the Irish late in the shot clock for Roper. Long rebound run down by Dylan Hunter. Does not have the numerical advantage.
That is a supreme team rebounding. Everybody locates a block out. Ball hits the floor, and nobody but Tigers able to go chase it down. Job well done. Defensive rebound.
Hunter dribbling through a maze and laying it in. Challenged every single Irish defender.
Incredibly shifty there, patient Dylan Hunter. He's a driver. That's where he's at his best with his game. Certainly not a three-point shooter.
Keep in mind that Hunter averages just 2.7 points per game.
But with Jack Clark out, everybody has to elevate for the Tigers on the road here.
Roper trying to back it down around Hunter. The kick out for three, and it's money for Booth. Three attempts, and he's knocked them both down. Tied at 17. What a kind bounce out of the corner for Wiggins, and that's a three-ball corner pocket.
And the Irish will give Wiggins that look. They almost dared him to make it, and the rim did all the work to deliver for Wiggins there. Chess match being played with these teams and what they're allowing the other one to look-wise to get offensive.
Ives into the teeth of that Clemson defense.
Shot clock is at 10. 50% shooting so far for the Irish in the first half.
Roper becoming the facilitator for the Irish. He's got to take it himself.
Over top of the backboard and to the Tigers.
And Tom, what you're seeing is when Markus Burton is out of the game for Notre Dame, they are without an identity. There is nobody to play through. It's Burton and Shrewsbury. It's truly the offense with some Booth at times, occasionally Jai down low, but this group needs Burton on the floor as much as possible. That's why his usage is tops in the ACC.
Notre Dame now 3 of 8 on three-point tries. Clemson is 3 of 7 from beyond the arc. Hall has 2 of those made threes. Entry Wiggins against the double team, lost it on the way up. And a foul was called. Lee Cassell on top of the call.
Felt like a late whistle hits the booze. How about Digger Phelps, the legend, throwing the basketball back right there. And he knows how to find the camera. Coach Phelps with a thumbs up.
It's the second foul on Jai. Just a little reach in there from Jai, perhaps.
Jai with the reach, and I think all eyes were looking at Booth. Booth didn't violate. The foul came to Jai for the dig.
Free throw is good, or as Poe from the new movie Kung Fu Panda 4 might say, skadoosh. Don't miss Kung Fu Panda 4, only in theaters this Friday. You got to take the little one to see Kung Fu Panda 4.
You sold it to me.
Only one for Wiggins there. Tight ball game in the first half. 9:20 and rolling. Tom Wormy, Jordan Cornette, the former Notre Dame standout, still the school's all-time leading shot blocker, and our outstanding production crew on CW Courtside Saturday. Booth, a little bit of a heat check for Booth.
Yeah, but that was a good-looking miss. Booth is clearly focused and dialed in, and they're going to at some point have to really start respecting him from 3 tonight.
Chase Hunter's been a significant contributor this season. His teammate PJ Hall to the rim, and he's got 11 double digits.
Hall's been unstoppable, and they haven't gone to him enough here in the first 12 minutes of the game. I'd sit 24 on that low block, feed him every time, be gluttonous, and say, stop me, prove to me I can be stopped.
27 times this season, double digits for Hall. Times the miss and the long rebound, Hunter. Trying to challenge Davis, who held his ground.
That's where Hall needs to give it up and go duck down into the paint. He's got to get on that low block. There's not a defender on the floor big enough, strong enough to defend it.
Beadle.
These are empty possessions for Clemson. There's not one guy on the floor for the Irish who can defend an all-conference first-team performer in PJ Hall. You must go down low to 24.
Trying to work it inside to Davis. Couldn't calculate that angle, fighting with Hall. That goes off of the Tigers, and it will be Irish basketball when we come back. It's a 6-point first-half lead for the visiting Clemson Tigers on CW Courtside Saturday.
Why do powerful people submit themselves to
in conference at 40-plus in conference at Braden Shrewsbury? Haven't even really given him looks. He's 0 for 1 from there. That's how the Irish can really punish you, is when that two-man game of Burton Shrewsbury gets going. It has not. 12 points in the paint for the Tigers. Should hover towards the 20 spot if they are gluttonous and going down low to PJ Hall, which I believe could be the decided differentiator for the Tigers to take true control here in the first stanza.
Irish with the basketball, they've missed 7 of their last 8 shots, and each of their last 5 3 attempts. And their percentage down to 38% as a team in the first half. At one point, it was 50%. Shot clock inside of 10 for Burton.
Zone look here.
Burton just grazed the front of the rim. Hall demanding the basketball against Zona. Just put the shoulder into Zona, created contact and the foul against the Notre Dame senior.
I like the mentality from PJ Hall. He is known to trail the play and become the three-point shooter there. He didn't settle. He had a good look from 3, but said, no, I'm going to see if Zona can defend the closeout, move his feet well enough to stay with me. And that is attacking the closeout. PJ Hall going right to the rim and drawing the whistle.
11 points right now for Hall, leading scorer for the Tigers. Burton has 11 for the Irish with Hall at the free throw line. CW Courtside Saturday concludes next week with a pivotal doubleheader. First, Boston College takes on Louisville. Then in prime time, two teams with tournament aspirations square off as NC State visits Pitt. CW Courtside Saturday next week, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, only on the CW. And we thank everyone watching and staying with us all season long through our football season into college basketball. We started on December 2nd with Georgia Tech's upset win against Duke. We'll conclude next week with our CW Courtside Saturday doubleheader. Burton over two defenders.
So good with stopping, rising, and staying focused on the target. Good trajectory for a little guy to be able to finish over tall defenders. He's mastered that mid-range floater.
Last 5 games, he has averaged 22 points per game, including 28 at Syracuse and a career-high 31 against Wake on this floor on Tuesday. And a misfire from Hunter. Zona gobbles it up.
It's the ability to change paces. He'll set you up, he'll stand you up, and that quick first step, but he's a blur and he's gone.
A couple of players got tangled up there, Wiggins and Zona.
Throwing a lot of length defensively at Braden Shrewsbury, the sharpshooter. So as he tries to come off these screens, defenders like Wiggins with length have been disruptors and have deterred the pass of the distributor from going to Shrewsbury because he's covered up pretty good here in this first half.
Leading three-point shooter for the Irish is Shrewsbury as Burton dribbles all over the court. Finds Shrewsbury, tough runner, got the angle for the Irish.
That's a big-time play from Shrewsbury. Run him off the line, become a cutter, and finish at the rim. Heck of an adjustment from the sharpshooter.
His first basket of the game, he averages 10 per game. Hall misses, Zona the board. J.R. Konieczny is also in the lineup right now for the Irish. He's got the basketball. He fires. He's got it. First points from the bench in 2 games. Remember, they did not have a bench point in the win at home this week against Wake.
Interesting because J.R. Konieczny looked at Coach Shrewsbury and they shared a smile. Konieczny pointed at his head coach when he made the shot. Clearly trying to instill confidence in his bench guys. That is coaching.
Konieczny did not see action in the game against Wake. That is the spin from Beadle, and he got fouled by Davis. So Josh Beadle, redshirt sophomore from Columbia, South Carolina, will go to the free throw line. 64% of the season trying to untie us. It's finally here. The highly anticipated new season of the CW's #1 show, All-American, premieres Monday, April 1st. From the sidelines to the streets, they're leaving it all on the field. Monday, April 1st, 8/7 Central, only on the CW. Guaranteed that these teams will leave it all on the court tonight. Senior night for the Irish. And Jordan, you know all about the emotion of senior night from this very location some years ago back in 2005.
See, don't do that, Tom. You know how that game ended for me against the Pitt Panthers, where we jumped out to like an early 18-point lead on a Sunday afternoon, needed it to get in the tournament, and we lost by like 8 points, and I fouled out. But thanks for bringing back that memory from 20 years ago. It's appreciated.
I was thinking more of the celebratory nature of the evening. Burton trying to give him something to cheer about and celebrate.
I said the Tigers had to try and contain Markus Burton off the bounce. I can say that very comfortably from the sidelines. It's a tough task. Tigers will not be able to do so.
Burton with 15 points now. That leads all scorers so far. Hall, he's trying the three-point range, and he's missed his last few.
He's a capable three-point shooter. It's entirely too much volume for three for Hall.
Joe Girard has not scored tonight. He is 0 for 3 from the floor. This is Chase Hunter, catch and release. Angular rebound to Shrewsbury.
I'm surprised how many possessions consecutively have now happened where P.J. Hall or Schieffelin haven't tried to dive into the paint and play in the post.
Third tie of the night. Irish looking for their first lead on this possession. Burton had to give it up. Gerard on Shrewsbury. Shot clock is at 6. Zona. He puts the Irish in front for the first time tonight with a 3.
The crowd comes alive. It's all Markus Burton. Putting Tyson in a blender. Putting Hunter, in a blender off the bounce. And once he gets past Hunter defensively, defense collapses. Defense sags off Zona. Zona delivers on his senior night. Take a look. PJ Hall got the 3-ball going early. And he's capable. He shoots about 33% from there. He's been mightily productive, but his last 3 attempts from 3 haven't gone. He's stuck back inside. Meanwhile, Markus Burton, he's even had the 3-ball go once, but off the bounce, he is a magician. 15 points. His ability to create off that bounce, getting past the defense, setting up guys a couple times. This young man is brimming with confidence as we now enter March in the late stages where freshmen, Tom really becomes sophomores at this point.
This is Hall, the senior, over top of Zona.
There it is. I'm telling you, it cannot be stopped. Nobody on Notre Dame's team is built to stop him one-on-one in isolation with that baby hook over the left or right shoulder. That time, over the left shoulder.
Back out to Zona. Nesny misses. And now Wiggins in transition. Schieffelin running the floor, and he's got the layup.
Forget about the three-point line. Think about Schieffelin and Hall down low. And then you will watch a Tigers team build a lead.
Tigers 3 of 11 on 3-pointers. And prior to those last 2 baskets for Clemson, it was a 12-2 Irish run. Nesny against Wiggins.
It's a good move from Knesny. Drove it hard, tried to find an angle, didn't have it played off 2. Tried to use the rim to protect, just couldn't punctuate.
This is what Brad Brownell identified. The response against the runs by the home team, that's how you win on the road in the ACC. Knesny hit the deck, and it's going to be Tiger basketball.
I don't care if I'm harping on a point too much here. PJ Hall's taking 6 threes. He should not be a double-figure three-point shooter. I don't care if he has the ability there. These are bailouts on offensive possessions in a game where possessions are amplified. PJ Hall should not take another 3 in the first half, certainly, but unless it's just undeniable, truly for the rest of the game.
He's taken 132 3 attempts on the season.
It's part of the game, I understand it, but he's settled.
Now, it's a different story for Joe Girard. He has not scored tonight. He shoots 43% from beyond the arc. Yeah. Girard so far 0 for 3 on 3-point attempts.
And you know what Coach Burnell does not care about? An air ball from Joe Girard. He's telling him, take that next one, the next time, the time after that, and the time after that.
85 made threes on the season for Girard. That's tied for 3rd in the conference. At the other end, it's Zona. Might have lost it on the way up, and Hall grabbed it.
Good defense from Hall to recover and defend, make him score over the top.
Girard with the kick. Hall thought about a 3, drove it and lost it. Fight for the loose ball and a foul against the Tigers. Looked like Booth was in there for the Irish as well. So Schieffelin assessed that foul, his first.
PJ Hall on a catch from 3 right there. He thought about the 3, tried to drive it. That needs to just be a catch. Move the basketball. Move it within the confines of the offense to find something. You don't have to be the creator.
Burton, a wicked spin and layup for the freshman.
Young man is special talent.
Lightning quick off the bounce. And now Girard and Hall have trouble collaborating. Hall saves it to Schieffelin. Hunter bounces off of Burton a couple of times. Backing his way in, and an offensive foul.
Credit Markus Burton just staying there, making Hunter meet the chest. Teddy Valentine was the one to let it go once, maybe twice, but the 3rd time, too egregious in front of the whistle for Teddy not to use it. There comes a first and there comes a second one. When he powers in that 3rd one, it's just enough for Teddy B to say no.
So the ball back to the Irish. It was a foul on Hunter, his first. Might have been a travel involved in the contact as well. This is Shrewsbury. Up top, Schieffelin for the board.
Didn't look like Shrewsbury caught it clean enough. Maybe surprised he was that open, but had to reload. And in that awkward exchange, not a good look for him.
He's missed both of his 3 attempts so far in the game. Schieffelin against a double, and he spins it on in.
That's what the Tigers need to bottle up and deliver every possession. High-low basketball between 2 high-level interior performers, all down low to Schieffelin.
6 points now for Schieffelin, one of the top rebounders in the ACC. In fact, 9.5 boards, is the best in the conference, and he's got another one. Schieffelin, Hall.
It's laughable how easy it is. If the Tigers cannot get bored with dominating in the painted area.
16 points in the first half for P.J. Hall. And the Tigers by 3. They've led by as many as 7 in this first half. Notre Dame had a 3-point lead after Zona gave them their first lead of the game earlier in this half. All right, coming up on the Subaru halftime report from Purcell Pavilion at the Joyce Center, Notre Dame, Indiana. CW courtside Saturday. We'll have the recap of Wake Forest and Virginia Tech, a win at home for the Hokies. We'll talk Live Golf, the Jenner recap, and highlights and stats from our first 20 minutes for the Irish and the Tigers. And they're only meeting during the regular season. They met last year. They played in Clemson, South Carolina, and that was a dominating victory for Clemson against the visiting Irish. Last win for Clemson here at Notre Dame came back in 2019. In fact, their only win in the 5 meetings between the teams here on this floor.
As expected, 2 teams, Tom, playing their best basketball right now. Not necessarily in this first half, but 2 teams entering this game. You knew it was going to be a close contest. Clemson tilting towards a pretty sizable favorite, but with how the Irish play here and how they played their last 5 games, 4.5, if you eliminate that Syracuse first half, it's a group that's figured it out to play and max out on their limitations under Coach Shrewsbury.
Either way, the Irish have exceeded the win total in conference from a year ago. They won just 3 conference games. A miss from Burton deep in the shot clock, and there's only 11 seconds on the game clock. Tigers trying to win their 6th ACC road game of the year. It would be a school record. Burton the steal, trying to beat the clock, lofts it up, and hits the back iron, which was most unkind. And the Tigers close the half on an 8-2 run. And Irish with the basketball to start the second half and trailing 34-31. That pass ends up in the Irish bench.
Miscommunication there. That was supposed to be Braden Shrewsbury fading, flaring out on that screen, not cutting towards the rim. Clearly is set to get their shooter going. Shrewsbury not locked in there out of the first play to start the second half. Not how you want to begin a second stanza.
Tigers won on Tuesday at home against Pitt. That's Schieffelin and a feed from Gerard to start the second half.
On the flip side, exactly how you want to start a second half for these Tigers. Ducking in. Schieffelin, such a good presence, sealing down low, playing before the catch, and gets an early 2, a place where they've been dominant. 22 points in the paint for Clemson.
Notre Dame has won 4 of its last 5 games. Have to overcome the early second half deficit, and that will help. Shrewsbury on target.
So subtle, but such an impressive basketball move. You got Hall defending outside, jab at him, get him on his heels, get a clean look from 3.
His first 3 of the game and his 70th made of the year to lead the club. Shrewsbury again, let the defender fly on by, launches the 3. Davis offensive glass. The cutter is Burton. It was Chase Hunter who got a piece of the Burton attempt.
Nice cut from Burton. Elite job for Hunter, not giving up on the play, deflecting from behind. Got beat, didn't give up on the play, timed it, playing without foul.
Shrewsbury in a congested area, and that one's swatted away by Hall. Out of bounds, and it will stay with the Irish. There's 10 on the shot clock.
Love what the Tigers have done defensively. They are running Shrewsbury off that three-point line, making him a dribble drive guy or a cutter, and then contesting anything he does at the rim. Making him uncomfortable has been key.
And Hall is the third best shot blocker in the conference. That's a miss from Jai, and Hall pulled it in. Wiggins. Again, the Tigers without Jack Clark, the transfer from NC State, out with illness. This is Hunter regaining his footing. Can't convert. Schieffelin over the top. Burton comes out of the fray. Shovels it to Booth. Lines up the three and knocks it down.
Markus Burton makes that happen by applying pressure on the initial thrust. He gets into the paint, whether it looked like he had a path or not, he does. Makes the defense shifty and vulnerable. Finds Kerry Booth and gives him a pristine look from beyond the arc.
Booth's third three-pointer makes it a one-point game. Wiggins, that one bounces out. Stolen by Schieffelin. Tigers can take the lead right back. Driving past Jai, lays it in, and then hits the deck.
Flirting with danger, Kevin Jai on those plays. You either foul or you give it away. You don't kind of do one or the other. Lucky for Jai, no whistle.
Tigers by one. An offensive foul is called.
It's the right call. Kevin Jai moving on the screen. Trying to open up a look for his shooter in Shrewsbury. Tigers switching on it, so they were positioned regardless. But Jai, a couple miscues. Took the three on one possession. Following sequence, moving screen. 2 empty possessions for the Irish.
Third foul on Jai. Only player in our game so far in foul trouble early second half.
Now you got to go down to Hall and try and get him his fourth.
Quick double from Davis around the perimeter. Miss from Hunter.
It's good offense. Take the double, kick it out, move it, get a clean look. Simply can't punctuate.
17 points for Burton to lead the way. Jai right into Hall. Offensive foul, Kevin Jai.
Kevin Jai's got to understand, like, that's not his game. You got to move the basketball. Now you're saddled for a while because that's 4. Just going to lower the boom, basic move. Supreme defensive anticipation for P.J. Hall to take that charge, and now it becomes the Zona show on his senior night. Heck of an opportunity for the big fella.
And that's the 4th Notre Dame turnover of the half. They had 3 all of the first half, and Jai has not scored, and he'll sit on the bench with the 4 personal fouls. Zona's in for Jai. Clemson has the basketball. Gerard unable to find some daylight. Entry to Schieffelin. That's a tough catch. Davis was behind him, and Davis picked up the foul.
Because Schieffelin, being that seal guy that he is, so talented there as the duck-in, he won the position battle. And Tae Davis had no choice but to foul. This is a heck of a matchup for Tae Davis. Gives up a lot in a physicality category. Defending.
That's Gerard. Ripping the ropes for the Tigers right in front of his own bench, and what a reaction by his teammates.
Because his teammates understand for them to go where they need to go here and get a W on the road, they're going to need the veteran and sharpshooter and high-level scorer in Joe Girard.
First points of the night for Gerard. Burton rising and firing, halfway down and out. Zona fights forward, and Hall has the save. Shrewsbury trying to stay with Gerard. Back out Schieffelin. Booth the rebound.
Good high-low basketball. Would have loved to see Schieffelin give it right back on the repost to Hall.
Schieffelin shoots over 50% from beyond the arc. As you mentioned, Jordan, one of the most improved players in all of the ACC, Ian Schieffelin.
No question. Does everything. Checks so many boxes. Defensively really works at it. Best offensive rebounder on a team that can score it too.
Booth again. That's a 2. Just inside the line.
Booth's having himself a game. Incredibly efficient as well. 4 threes now for the freshman. Part of the future and foundation of this Irish program.
So 11 points for Booth after that jumper. Other end, Hall. Series of moves against Zona. Can't convert, and a foul coming up against the Tigers.
Three ball has entered the chat here in the second half. We called for Joe Girard, and Joe Girard answers on the out of bounds, comes off the curl. Quick release, buckets. Shrewsbury, everyone expected the three there. No, it's Kerry Booth dialing down. I spent a lot of time at that grotto saying prayers for my three balls to fall on the nights we played. Grotto won the game. The three-point shot wasn't necessarily kind to me, but the grotto was always a great place to gather my thoughts, and one of the special places on this Notre Dame campus. Always great to be back as a graduate in 2005.
Wonderful to be inside Purcell Pavilion of the Joyce Center, home of Irish basketball since 1968. Wonderful renovation back in 09. Back in 2013, that 5-overtime game and a win against Louisville, 104-101. One of the amazing contests in this facility. Davis on the drive.
ATOs, where Coach Shrewsbury makes his money. Good little set drawn up to get Tae Davis an easy one.
Tied at 41. Everybody reaching at that one. Hit ball against the Irish. It's a tough entry there to P.J. Hall. Imes will come in. Shrewsbury goes out. He's got 5 points and has a 3 to his credit. Wiggins. Hall. Quick decision. Long rebound. Wiggins preserving the possession. That one kicked straight up in the air.
But I like the idea. P.J. Hall is trying to go down low via the bounce pass to Schieffelin on the low block. That high-low game is there for the Tigers. High-level awareness on a kick ball to prevent an easy one.
Tigers have won 6 of their last 7 games. Only loss was at home a couple of weeks ago against NC State. DJ Horn had the game winner for the Pack, which lost this afternoon to North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Schieffelin, turnaround, a tough one, front rim. Irish have won 4 of their last 5, including home wins against Wake, Georgia Tech, and Virginia Tech. And the only loss was on the road at the Dome, where they trailed by 29 in the first half on Jim Boeheim Day and almost came back and won it.
Yeah, I mean, it just speaks to the culture that Coach Shrewsbury's building here. That team, doors blown off them in the first half, but did not give up. Had a chance at the end on the road, and in this 5-game stretch, that being the lone loss, this group's really finding out who they are, and they're a tough out as the Tigers are finding out this Saturday evening.
Booth again rattles the rim. It's now 7 rebounds for Schieffelin at the other end. Second 3 of the game for Girard. He was shut out in the first half in the box score. This one is Burton saving it. 10 on the shot clock. Davis swooping in. Tae Davis, spectacular baseline move. Girard let the defender fly on by and he misses. Chance for the Irish to regain the lead as we cross the 13-minute threshold of the second half. Shot clock at 8 for Burton. Booth on the handle and the spin. Everything but the basket for Booth. Hunter at the other end.
I like what the Tigers are trying to do, though. They're trying to speed this game up, get those stops, and then try to run. Give this game a little bit more of a rhythm, because the Irish like to take the air out of the basketball and make this game one of patience and real discipline.
Burton driving, got tripped up. Beadle was defending. And he picks up the foul for the Tigers. Second on Josh Beadle. Shrewsbury's going to come back in for Davis.
These are the challenging moments for the Irish. When Burton checks out, can they keep their head above water as Konechny enters the lineup too? Your primary handler becomes Logan Imes.
So Burton out of the game with his 17 points to lead the way for the Irish. Booth is also in double digits with 11. Imes from the corner, right into the hands of Chase Hunter. Hunter, Gerard, and Schieffelin combined for 45 wins in the home win against Pitt on Tuesday. 69-62. Godfrey. Hunter. Zona elevates for the rebound. .39% as a team shooting for the Irish. Zona with the handoff. Konechny. Shot clock whittles down to 10. Trying to work on Godfrey. Shrewsbury over Beadle. Tigers have it with Jordan. They're one of their last 8 from the floor.
They're going to try and play. They're going to try and play through Schieffelin, but here's Konechny. He's going to try and hoof it. And lay it on the break. Big time basket. Not only the Irish keep their head above water, they regain the lead. Defensively, the crowd has come alive here at Purcell Pavilion.
Gerard, the jumper from the elbow.
Speaking of coming alive, here comes Joe Girard in his second half. Confident after he got that early three on the out-of-bounds under. Now he's really hunting his shot.
8 points now for Gerard. Did not score in the first half. He's given the Tigers the lead by 1. Closing in on the halfway mark of the second half. That pass somehow got to Booth. Trying to convert. Volleyball around to Schieffelin. Leading rebounder in the ACC, and you see why. Always around the basketball. Gerard, dribbling clinic. Beadle down the lane. Booth, the initial contact.
And this is exactly what the Irish would hope for.
Shrewsbury. Schieffelin runs it down.
And I don't think, Braden Shrewsbury is a sharpshooter, but I can't imagine Coach wanted a quick shot there. They're trying to save time with Burton on the bench. They don't want to take quick ones, especially if they're contested.
Shrewsbury now just 1 of 5 on three-point attempts. He had been 46% from beyond the arc in his last 5 games. Gerard got the shot away. He and Shrewsbury hit the deck and a whistle inside. Irish will have the ball when we come back. It is a 1-point lead for the Tigers on the road. At the ACC tournament, we are going to Washington, D.C. for the 3rd time. It's also been there in 05 and 2016. Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. mid-March. A lot to decide between then and now, especially here at Purcell Pavilion. And you get the feeling, Jordan, we might be going right down to the wire as Gerard misses. Irish have made 7 threes in the game. Davis going to drive it over the defender Hall.
What composure from Tae Davis, attacking right at the chin of P.J. Hall. And like all great finishers, continues to keep his eye on the goal through traffic.
6 points for Davis. He fouls Hunter on the drive. So Chase Hunter will go to the free throw line. Davis picks up the foul for the Irish. That'll be his 3rd.
Chase Hunter, when he drives the basketball, there's no zigging and zagging. These are straight line drives. This is right at the defense. And when you attack like that, it puts the pressure on the official to blow the whistle. More times than not, they will.
Dive into the nation's most shocking mysteries. Catch all new episodes of the CW original True Crime series, Crime Nation. Tuesdays, 8/7 Central, only on the CW. Tigers, one of the better free throw shooting teams in the league, 78% as a team, and third in the ACC, and now Hunter has given them the 1-point lead. Right back. Burton around the Davis screen, got it back. Shot clock down to 8. Imes. Zona. Got it from the corner.
Big time shot from Matt Zona on his senior night to give his group a lift and the lead. And the crowd is back and energized.
Second three of the game for Zona. He had 10 made all season coming into the night. The energy of senior night. Hall floats to the rim and scores, and we're tied at 50.
How about the awareness of P.J. Hall? It's like, should I reverse this ball? No, I have a gap to pursue. Attacks, but contorts his body to avoid the charge and finish. That's 6'10". What a dynamic talent.
18 points for P.J. Hall, right on his season average of 18.5. Behind the back dribble from Burton. Nowhere to go, defended by Beadle. Shot clock down to 3 and a whistle. Late in that shot clock by Lee Cassell on top of it for the foul against the Tigers.
Going back and forth, and the beauty of senior night is you get a chance to provide moments like this. Matt Zona from 3, keeping him alive. P.J. Hall, first team all-conference guy, let him know what time it is.
Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary presented by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. Joe Girard was shut out in the first half, 8 points in the second half.
Yeah, Joe Girard's really been getting going. This guy can score in bunches, so it's the danger zone for the Irish as we get late game here for both teams. What he's capable of doing, but Tae Davis, best athlete on the floor. Him getting downhill is a big part of his game, and he's found some success. It's going to have to be about the others. P.J. Hall and Markus Burton have been great, but what are their counterparts, colleagues on their side going to do to position them to try and steal one, and what's going to be a fun final 7 and a hook?
Davis, the sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana, with the rim rocker, double-fisted.
Talked about his athleticism, his ability to get downhill, coming with momentum, the two-hand jelly.
Davis a steal. Eyes for the rim. Hall trying to defend and picking up the foul for Clemson.
Right on cue. Once again, I mean, that's it to Andrea Crawford, our producer, telling a story about Tae Davis. And then here he comes again, gets in a passing lane, and not scared, tries to power up and go right at P.J. Hall to earn the whistle, fresh off the dunk in the prior sequence.
Skadoosh. Tae Davis really channeling his inner Dragon Warrior. And for more excitement, see Kung Fu Panda 4 only in theaters this Friday. Davis deserves another skadoosh for his effort in the last couple of minutes.
Check that off the box of things I wouldn't expect to hear in a close game.
Double digits now, 10 points for Davis, all in the second half. After he had 11 in the win at home against Wake this week on Tuesday, Girard. Burton the board.
And the Irish are going to slow it down. Not necessarily play not to lose, but they're going to use some clock here. And if they find an opportunity, pursue it. But this is who they've been all year. Burn a lot of clock, amplify those possessions.
Davis again, little mismatch with Girard. So Davis at 6'9", Joe Girard at 6'2". Going to assess the foul to Ian Schieffelin. With Davis back at the free throw line, 69% of the year. Just made a couple moments ago. Those were his first 2 attempts of the evening. Davis, the transfer from Seton Hall. 32 games in his lone year with the Pirate program. He has basically single-handedly given the Irish the 6-point lead. Closing in on 6 minutes to go in regulation. This is Hall around Jai to the rim, and a foul called. Hall to the free throw line, and frustration for Jai.
P.J. Hall makes up his mind that I'm going to go get it down low. There's no antidote. Right here, Kevin Jai, relatively physical, but just overpowered by the brute force of P.J. Hall. P.J. Hall kicking himself. He wanted the old-fashioned three-point play opportunity. And I like the rugged nature in which he's back to attacking at the rim. Kevin Jai with his 5th and final foul. And it's funny how it ends up coming to this. Matt Zona, who's been through a lot in his time here, coaching change, stayed the course on his senior night with a chance here in these final 6 minutes to have an impact.
72nd career game in an Irish uniform for Zona, with Hall at the free throw line. Zona's got 6 points in this game on senior night. One more free throw for P.J. Hall, 80% from the stripe on the season.
They're going to extend this defense. Clemson try to burn this clock up and speed this game up because they need more possessions. 5 points, very small deficit, but feels bigger in a game where the Irish have the capability of using a lot of clock and operating a little bit slower than most.
Both teams with just 7 turnovers in the game. Shot clock is at 7. Imes against Hunter. Trying to get the shot away.
This should be high-low basketball with Schieffelin and Hall, or at least a low post touch from one of the two. If not, Gerard coming off a three-point look, but I expect Hall to get a touch here. Good defense from Zona to prevent it. Got him pushed off the block. They wanted to go there. They could not.
Schieffelin double team, trying to spin out of it. Lost the handle out of bounds.
That should have been off the foot of Schieffelin, I believe. They're going to take a look here and discuss.
They're saying Clemson basketball.
We get the luxury of the replay, and it's going to be, yeah, that's the right call. Tae Davis stuck his foot in. The basketball went off Tae Davis's foot. From our angle, looked like Schieffelin, but Teddy V and the crew got that call right.
Schieffelin, by the way, has a double-double tonight. Trying to feed Hall. Schieffelin and Imes, and they wrestle their way to the floor. Hell ball situation, and the arrow favors the Irish.
Excessive contact afterwards from Schieffelin. Surprised they're not going to take another look. Bodies hit the floor, but watch the extra jab there from Schieffelin. I'm telling you what, that's worth another look. Surprised the crew does not take another look. Was he protecting himself going down to the floor? Was he going for a swing? On second thought, maybe I got ahead of myself. I do believe that right hand was trying to protect himself from the fall. It looked aggressive coming at us, but Schieffelin was just bracing himself from the fall.
I mean, either way, Jordan, you can see the intensity of these two teams.
No question. And Schieffelin's got a motor unlike any other. That's why he's a special player, why he's had the year he has. So I pushed back on that one. He's bracing himself from the fall.
10 points and 11 rebounds for Schieffelin. He's got his 8th double-double of the season. This is Burton launching for 3 to match the jersey number. And the biggest lead of the half for either team is 8 for the Irish after the 3-ball from Burton.
Ray Shrewsbury swings it over the freshman phenom, Mr. Markus Burton. 3-piece nugget. And he delivers in a massive moment. What I've also noticed from Markus Burton is he's been more animated out there performing today. Fully comfortable in being the man for the Irish.
Wiggins backs down and scores off the square. Big bucket for the Tigers, 6-point game. Burton's got 20 points. Leads everybody at that number. And the 8th time this season he's gone for 20 or more in this freshman campaign. Burton. Shot clock at 5. Burton creating. Got the shot away over Gerard. Did not get the bounce, and Schieffelin another rebound. Wiggins, who scored on the previous possession. Double teamed. Safety valve is Hunter. Hunter almost lost the handle in the corner. Shot clock down to 5 for Hall. Takes a quick glance. Over Zona. Hall got the roll.
What a talented young man. Composure. Understanding the clock. Knew he had to get to a spot. Made Zona become a perimeter defender. And the touch to give that thing a nice little gentle roll off the rim and in.
21 points for Hall, 11th time this year. He's gone for 20 or more. He and Burton have put on a show tonight. Inside of 3 minutes in regulation. Imes a lot of dribbling late in the shot clock. Shrewsbury.
Big possession here for the Clemson Tigers.
They've gotten buckets from Wiggins and Hall in their last 2 trips. Gerard misses.
But that's part of the Irish defensively. Never give up on a play. Imes still contests to make the degree of difficulty high on the offering from beyond the arc from Gerard.
Just 5 of 25 as a team on 3-pointers in the game for the Tigers.
Irish double in the post. They play without fouling. They contest everything.
Burton cross it over. Gives it off to Davis. Davis got it to go over the defensive wall.
Acrobatics here at South Bend on senior night. Tae Davis delivers.
And now 2 minutes to go in regulation. The turnaround is good from Chase Hunter.
Clemson has to be thinking stops. And it's going to start with trying to keep Markus Burton in front.
20 for Burton, 14 for Davis, 11 for Booth. With 3 players in double figures for the Irish. 5 on the shot clock for Shrewsbury. For 3, and it cans it. Hall. Schieffelin deflected into the corner. Gerard got there. That'll be Tiger basketball. They are going to take a look at that inside of 2 minutes to go in regulation.
Long time ago, it felt like at the beginning of the season, Brady Shrewsbury couldn't buy a bucket. Now he's become one of the best shooters in all of the ACC and delivers a big-time one from distance.
One of the recognizable and signature spots on campus. Purcell Pavilion tonight, not too bad either, Jordan Cornette.
Yeah, this place is rocking right now because this Notre Dame team, one that we've covered all year long, has hit their groove and are on the precipice of winning 5 of 6 if they can get it done here in these final 73 seconds. They've been locked in defensively. They've gotten efforts from a few guys. Tae Davis has been strong, but it's a Tigers team that will not give up. Buckle up for the final 70 seconds.
Gerard. And now Hall over Zona. Rolls off and Zona rips it down. 1 minute to go. Hunter reaches in. Second on Hunter. Five team fouls for each team at the moment. And that's going to be the 6th team foul against the Tigers on the Hunter reach-in. They get it to Davis, and Schieffelin and Wiggins converge on Davis. 4th on Schieffelin. Don't forget our final CW Courtside Saturday coming up next week. So we wrap up the regular season of the ACC. Irish 8-8 at home this season, 4-5 in conference play. If they win tonight, it's going to be their 7th ACC win of the year. Much improved from a season ago.
Considering he didn't have a roster when he took the job. Lost 99% of his scoring from the year prior and he entered this game. What Coach Shrewsbury has done to this point is nothing short of masterful. And people could call me crazy, but this guy should be garnering votes in the Coach of the Year conversation for the uphill climb of what he's had to do here. Should he get the award? No. Should he garner attention for it? Without question.
Lost their top 7 scorers from a season ago. Hunter misses. Schieffelin grabs it. Trying to keep hope alive for the Tigers, and that's Gerard fouled in the corner. And Davis was the closest defender.
Big time mistake, overzealous activity from Tae Davis there. Of course, you want to contest. It's a sharpshooter, Gerard, but it's imperative you play without fouling at this junction. Throw 3 guys and come in, just invade the space. You got to allow the shooter to land. Not only that, there was contact as he was elevating and coming down.
First free throw of the game for Joe Girard. Prior to that free throw, he was 95 of 100 from the free throw line. Not surprisingly, top free throw shooter in the ACC by percentage and one of the best in the history of the conference. After 4 years at Syracuse and the transfer to Clemson this year. One more for Girard.
It's automatic.
He makes this one, and it's a 2-possession game, Jordan, with 39 seconds to go.
And a whole lot of time left, Tom. A whole lot of time. You're absolutely right.
That's what he does. 66-60. After the free throws from Girard and Beadle will come in. Girard with 11 second-half points. Davis with 16 second-half points for the Irish. Pressure from the Tigers. Hunter and Wiggins on the double. Timeout called by Imes.
And the position Imes caught in the basketball, not the most confident of handlers. Right move to call a timeout. In these final 36 seconds, you want Markus Burton with the basketball. The blur he is a challenge to foul a guy like that. He's a running back with the basketball, an absolute blur. So the set drawn out here for the Irish will without question be give the ball to the freshman phenom, Markus Burton.
Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. As we take a look at our player of the game, it's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit Progressive.com.
Tom, it's got to be the unrelenting motor of the freshman superstar Markus Burton. He got the 3-ball going at one point. A couple of times he's been able to get downhill. Defense has struggled to keep him in front. He's got that painted areas distributed a couple of times, 4 assists. But the rebounds, even battled on the backboard, getting 6 rebounds. But it's been timely play after timely play. Look, when you come in here as an opponent, you understand the head of the snake is Markus Burton. You're throwing the kitchen sink at the young man. He's only a freshman, and yet he is thriving every time out there on the floor. It's remarkable. It's very fun to watch.
Probably should have known.
Reminds me a lot of Chris Thomas.
Yeah, should have known when he scored 29 in his first ever game against Niagara. School record for a debut by a freshman.
It's a great point, Tom, but then you go for 31 versus Wake and you turn around and do this. It's incredible.
Foul finally committed by Wiggins against Davis. 3rd on Wiggins. Davis at the free throw line. Burton 28, 31, and 20 points tonight in his last 3 games. And how about the second half for Tae Davis? And he still hasn't missed a free throw. 7 for 7. Irish shot it well from the stripe in the win Tuesday against Wake. They were 19 of 22 from the free throw line. Another one for Davis. The lead is 8. Time running out of the Tigers. Hall needs the 3, does not get it. Shrewsbury comes flying in and saves it to Davis up ahead. Burton, 15 seconds to go. And Gerard fouls Burton. Standing ovation from the assembled crowd at Purcell Pavilion for the Irish, and especially for their senior group.
Really cool for a young man like Matt Zona. Stay the course here. Trust that there will be a home for him to come play. Knew it was going to be an uphill climb here in the year of the portal where he can go find an opportunity somewhere. Matt Zona likes to stay, and it's for a moment like this. For that senior, that's pretty cool.
Fellow senior Tony Sanders Jr. also into the game, number 12 in white. Burton at the free throw line. 21 points for Burton. Zona to the bench, and a lot of congratulations from his teammates and coaching staff. Final 10 seconds. Wiggins races to the rim for the dunk. 69-62, 8.3 seconds to go. And that will do it. Final seconds tick away, and it's an Irish win on senior night, 69-62.
Incredible performance. This Irish team